like I said, there's two different views of premill theology. There's dispensational premill and there's historical premill. Dispensational premill says that the church or the people of God, the believers, will be raptured. So basically, Yeshua comes, he doesn't touch the earth, he gets all of the Christians that are on earth, takes them up into heaven, and they are gone. And then the rest of the world has to deal essentially with no believers on earth, and the time goes on. Yeshua comes back to the earth and reigns on this earth, and more people might come to faith, but this is when the law gets reinstituted into time and space on earth. And this is, according to the dispensational premills, this is why we see things like Sukkot come back, or why we see the kosher laws come back, or why we see Gentiles celebrating the Sabbath in this end time idea. It comes back because all the believers are gone now. All the Christians are gone. Israel is now taken. You've heard me say, like, God takes Israel and puts them on the shelf, and then we get into the law or the dispensation of grace. At this, during the millennium reign, according to the dispensational premills, God now takes Israel off the shelf, puts them back down, and now he's going to deal with Israel once again with the law of God. Historic premill does not believe this. Historic premill believes that the rapture essentially happens when Yeshua comes down, the believers go up to meet him in the air and then escort him down, as it were, to the earth for him to reign on earth. Okay, so let's see if somebody else can describe this even better than I can. And let's kick over here. Give me just 1 second. All right, let's take a listen to this.
The rapture is taught in the Bible, but not in this weird pre-tribulational way, or not in this way that we're caught up to heaven. Paul in the New Testament, again, he says, I'm going to tell you a mystery. He lays it out in great detail in 1 Corinthians 15, and then in numerous other passages in 1st and 2nd Thessalonians. And he explains that the rapture is very much a biblical teaching, but we get caught up, and he comes down. We come up and meet him in the clouds and then assist him as he completes his descent to the earth. It's very much a heavenly, when I say heavenly, I'm referring to the skies version of the first triumphant entry, when as he was approaching the city, they went out of the city and met him. And then the word in Greek is apentesis. They escort him back into the city. And so we will go out to meet him and then escort him back down to the earth. And that's the rapture from a biblical perspective.
Okay. This is what I was always taught, and this is how I've understood the idea of the rapture, is that this is exactly what happens. We go up and we come back down with him, and then essentially Yeshua slaughters, right? I mean, the imagery of Yeshua coming down to the earth, he opens his mouth, two-edged sword comes out, which I think implies him speaking. He speaks, and it's done, right? There's just carnage. It's not rainbows and kittens when he comes back. Okay, so these are the two views of premill theology. What's next? You have amill theology. And as we can, I found a video of somebody describing what amill is, and this view suggests. Actually, let's watch this video first, because I think that I will just play off of what he says or expand on what he says. Here we go.
The word amillennial literally means no millennium. However, this wording isn't exactly representative of what amills believe. They don't deny that there is a millennium, they just don't believe that it's a literal 1,000-year period of time where Christ rules and reigns over his kingdom on earth. Rather, they believe that the millennium spoken of in Revelation 20 is symbolic of the church age, which is the period of time spanning from the first advent of Christ to his second coming. They believe that Satan is currently bound for the sake of allowing the gospel to spread throughout the world. At the end of the church age, Satan will be loosed, the church will fall into a state of apostasy, which will pave the way for the Great Tribulation and the rise of the Antichrist. At the end of the Great Tribulation, Christ will return and put an end to the Antichrist rule. The resurrection and final judgment will take place, and then we'll enter into the eternal state.
Okay, so I will admit that I have a hard time understanding exactly the difference between amill and postmill. Now, there is a difference, and I have found a main difference. I'll show you this in a few seconds. But essentially what happens in this view, as he said, and this is correct, is that this is correct from this theological perspective, the amill theological perspective, is that we are in the millennium right now. So it's happening, and basically Yeshua has come, and as soon as he ascends into heaven, then this time period starts. Continue listening to this conversation by clicking the full show link on the left side of your screen, or check out the video on the right that YouTube thinks you'll like. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you never miss content from Messiah Matters.